Here we have a retro spot on Visionaries, Knights of the Magical Light, Darkling Lords, Darkstorm. What I had mentioned through my my Visionaries DVD set, and I'd probably suggest if you want, check that out first, just so you can get a backstory on Visionaries, because I probably won't touch too much on it when I do the figure reviews, but Darkstorm, of course, is the leader of the Darkling Lords. He was a sinister. He was actually voiced by Chris Latta, which a lot of people will remember from. He of course did Starscream, and he was known for Cobra Commander from the 80s. Chris Latta did Darkstorm, and he also did Kravex, which, where's my Kravex here? Which is this guy right here. Kind of a change of pace to see Chris Latta do this guy, because he didn't have the screeching voice that he was known for with his other characters. He was more just he played it just as a regular character, but yeah, he was the leader of the Darkling Lords. Very conniving, very sneaky kind of thing. In his figure itself is not a bad representation of Darkstorm. It's unfortunate though, the 80s weren't good for well, I mean, if you look at today's toys like Transformers Animated and Spectacular Spider-Man, all those kind of toy lines, the figures look just like the cartoon. I mean, that's what they market the toys as. When you get to like the 80s toys, generally a lot of times these toys were made before the cartoon, or you had the cartoon come out and then they released these figures later, but they never patterned the likeness off of the cartoon characters. They would keep the similar things like the beard and the hair, but the face generally looked like someone else. Hasbro has said, especially with the G.I. Joes, that they always patterned the characters more so on people that worked for the company than the actual cartoon. And maybe this similar thing has happened with the Visionary toys here. If we have a look at his totem, which still works really well considering the age of these toys, there we see the hologram. Now these totems could actually come off. There's just a little clip on here, and then there's a little, almost looks like a power plug here. If you want to plug a toaster in, you can just plug it into Darkstorm's chest here, but that slips right in. Articulation for these toys were very good. If you have a G.I. Joe from the 80s, these guys have the exact same articulation, right down to the fact that they've got you see that? They've actually got still a rubber band for the waist. And a lot of kids probably may not even know anything about the rubber bands unless you had some of the old G.I. Joes, but a great figure, great overall figure, great paint scheme. His one accessory he wore, of course, in the costume in the TV show was his helmet, and that helmet snaps right into place here, like so. Usually when I have these guys on display, I have them with the helmets on, just because that's what they usually wore in the cartoon when they were battling. I don't have the original packaging from these guys. I kind of wish I did. I still have the file card though, which is really nice. If I just read it off here, it says, Darkstorm, this diabolical, corrupt lord of evil, is committed to imprisoning the magic of the spectral knights for all eternity. And then his mystic personality, a swamp mollusk, depicting its slimy insensitivity toward all that is good. And then his magic totem, which was, during battle, Darkstorm summons his magical power of decay to corrode and eat away at spectral knight armor. Now, they word this that his totem is his power staff. Now, in the cartoon, though, they always referred to the chest emblems as their totems, their animal totems, and then they just had the power staffs. And then, of course, there's the spell of decay. That's the creature that it was. Kind of looked like a gargoyle of sorts. Now it mentions that he turned into a mollusk. A mollusk is, from what I can tell, it looked in the cartoon like a very spiny snail. It was like a giant snail kind of thing. His other feature, his other accessory was an axe, or a dagger, I guess if you want to say a dagger. Nice detailing though on it. And then of course here is his power staff. So the power staffs on all the figures had two modes. You would have, I hope you can make it out, you have a dragon, at least in this case you have a dragon for the Darkling Lords, and then, can you see that? There's the spell of decay. So the idea is in the cartoon when they use their summons, it would flip back and forth between the symbol of the team, in this case the dragon, to the spell of decay. And then Darkstorm's staff was, of course, by what creeps, what crawls, by what does not, let all that grows recede and rot. And then the creature would come out, and then it would latch on to one of the characters or one of the villagers, and it would turn them really, really old. And then, of course, he had a summon to change it back. I can't remember what it was. It was something like, by what decays something something turned back to new, something like that. And it would turn him back to being younger again. But there you have the figure of Darkstorm. This is the first of my reviews of them. I'm going to go through and do all the characters and all the toys. So stay tuned for that. But there's your retro spot on the Darkling Lords, Darkstorm. And I'll see you guys next time.